So hi to all our Nepali fans back home. I know and I'm sure that you all are disappointed. It's no different over here as well. I'm here with Rohit and we have been reflecting on this journey so far. We just thought that maybe with our canned media around who have been sending across some messages and questions, we thought that as responsible leaders, we'll try to answer some of your questions. So we'll start with that. The first question which has come to us is, what do you all think were the key factors that led to Nepal's loss against Netherlands and ultimately prevented us from advancing to Super 6? I'll ask Rohit to first answer about it and then maybe I can jump in as well.
I thought we as a batting unit, me and Kushal Burtel, both of us got start and we could not capitalize that start. We knew that toss was the factor, but still we got the start. I thought we could have done better in that area because 160 was not the par score. We all were discussing that something around 240 250 would be a good challenging score there. So I thought everyone got start, but we could not capitalize that. I thought mine wicket, Kushal Malla's wicket, that was turning point there. So, yeah.
I agree to that. I thought that we did put up a plan. In a meeting, we were very clear about the fact that, look, we want to win the toss. But toss comes along with luck factor. And I guess mentally we were prepared that if we lose the toss, we would bat first. I must give a lot of credit to Kushal Burtel for his game plan and the way he approached it. He had to lose Asif early on was not a good start for us in the morning, but the way Kushal Burtel played his role, and I thought the way Beam Sharkey stuck around with his plan. At first drinks break with 45 odd something for one in those testing conditions in the morning was definitely an effort put in place. After drinks break to lose those couple of wickets together, we normally always talk about partnerships. To miss out on those partnerships and then the repair work which was left to you, Kushal Malla and Dipendra, because that's where we had the next hopes.
Yes.
So yeah, you are right about the fact that some of us got the start. And I must say that a lot of people have spoken about short balls as well.
Yeah.
But I know in the short span, the amount of efforts taken by all the support staff with sidearms is what we can do to throw the balls at all of you in these conditions which were good for us to practice. We did manage to get one local help as well, and Majo was also good in terms of his sidearm throws to just bring it to speed around 135, 140. But if I were to ask you a question, West Indies and Netherlands, I thought both had some quality fast bowlers. If I had to ask you a question that facing us in the nets as some sidearm throws and facing those bowlers in the game, would you say there is a difference? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I feel there's a difference because Jason Holder bowling from 7 feet and Aljari bowling that pace, because we are not used to that. I have been experiencing it first time. So I think there was a difference. But by playing those games against Zimbabwe and West Indies, what now I feel is I've got that experience to playing against full members. So I think this is not an excuse, but I got that experience of playing both Holder and Aljari.
Thanks for this information. Even I as a coach feel that to face 140s, to face different release points, even Muzirbani, the way he releases his ball from, and to face them in their home conditions. I mean, they are more familiar with these conditions. It was a challenge in itself. Yeah, a little more present in those one ball battles, the winning mindset that you talk about. I have to agree, and the fact that our energy levels in those one ball battles while facing these experienced bowlers was not exactly up to the mark the way I expected it.
Yes.
The way I expected it. So there was also a little bit of a reason for us for a downfall. Yeah, Netherlands game, I think after Zimbabwe and West Indies, we should have put up a little more fight, considering the fact that it had a price for it.
Yes.
We could have reached Super 6. And who knows, reaching at Super 6, we would have again faced some better teams, including Sri Lanka, who is a full member team. So a letdown for the fans and more importantly for our own happy dressing room was not to reach the Super 6.
Yes. And as you mentioned, sir, that short balls issues, as you, Abdul sir, Binod Dai, everyone was throwing us short balls. What I felt that our as batting unit, our execution was not up to the mark. We could have done better with short balls. I think that.
It's okay. I mean, facing left arm spinners, facing leg spinners, facing off spinners for years, your execution has gone better. Facing seamers now and hopefully more regularly, I'm 100% confident our executions in those cases will get better because we are willing to put in efforts. Alright, so we've tried to sum up our Netherlands game. It was batting which just let us down. Yeah, with 160 odd, maybe we could have still put up a fight, but we know that the opposite team had a better surface to bat on and they did come up with an aggressive plan to take our bowlers on. So unless we had got early on wickets, I thought fielding was again a little bit of a letdown. We worked so much hard on fielding.
Yes.
No excuse, yes, wind, all that stuff. But we should take those catches. Okay, so we will go to the next question. As a coach and as a captain, how do we feel, how do you assess the overall performance of the team in ICC World Cup qualifiers, considering our victories against USA and the disappointing losses to Zimbabwe, West Indies and Netherlands? Let me try to frame this disappointing losses against Zimbabwe, West Indies and Netherlands. I would shift that disappointing towards Netherlands 100%, but I wouldn't say the same for Zimbabwe and West Indies myself. And I say this with full honesty. I've been around with West Indies for 3 years. I know that even with the West Indies team, and if you guys have watched the game yesterday, they lost against Zimbabwe. So this game is a great leveler unless you have huge amount of experience and the familiarity with conditions. It's not easy to beat full member teams. Yes, Netherlands I feel was definitely a disappointment. To overall assess the performance, Rohit, you want to get into that?
Yes, sir. I think, as you mentioned, that against Zimbabwe and West Indies, that was not a big disappointment, but against Netherlands, that was. What I felt against Zimbabwe and West Indies, we done decent jobs in patches, I would say. Playing against Zimbabwe was that first 30 overs batting,
Yes.
as a batting unit, both the openers, 170 stand. I think that was the positives from that. And in the second match against West Indies, first 30 overs, restricting them under 150, teams like West Indies. So I think that was positive in that also. So I think they were positives, but in Netherlands game, I think it was a disappointment more.
Yeah, and look, I do need to acknowledge and bring across the facts. When we landed in Zimbabwe on 11th of June, we practiced on 12th, we played a practice match on 13th, we practiced on 14th, we played a practice match on 15th, we practiced on 16th, 17th, we played a match on 18th, and that was the only thing which we have done, practiced and played games. If you ask any international teams to play 6 ODI matches, 100 overs game, in 13 days is a lot of toll on the body. Again, even I'm not using it as an excuse. We know that we could have done better against Netherlands, but maybe for us to play 6 games, 7 games in 2 weeks, we might have to look into rest, recovery and fitness. I know that a lot of the boys wanted to hit the balls because you want to play the fast bowlers better. Yes, I thought those phases that you spoke about, for me, if I go in a reverse manner, the West Indies game, the planning that we put in place for winning the toss and bowling first, almost all the plans did effectively went well for us. To get them below 20, I think below 20 for 2 in the first 10 overs, and then to pick up that crucial wicket just around drinks of Brandon King, and then Lalit almost with the angle theories which you talk about to get Pooran. I mean, those catches some days will stick in the gloves and sometimes it won't. including with Casey Karan, that inside edge
Yeah.
catch on the other side. Normally Asif will glove those. And that happens with keepers, okay? I know again with fielding also, it's not that we are not putting in effort with our practice. There is very specific training which we do for keepers. There is very specific trainings which we do for slip catchers. The moment of the right slip man in the game, when Arif was bowling, I thought that was definitely a lapse, a miss for us. Because instead of being, I felt Kushal Bultar could have been there in slips. You're right about it. Now, even Zimbabwe game, the way you said 170 run start, but then to lose both openers and still to score 290. Look at them, the way they bowled in the last few overs against West Indies. They were able to bowl them out and restrict them. They in fact defend the 260. So I thought 290, even then we did well. I know that we could have scored 15-20 runs more. It was purely the plans put in place by their death bowlers. The USA game we should not forget.
Yes.
It was again in conditions which were testing. Yes, we won the toss, but they did still challenge us with 207 runs to defend. And we chased it. We chased it with, I would say, not an absolute clinical performance with batting, because we lost again.
Yeah.
In those phases after drinks, Kushal Bultar first, and after drinks, you as well.
Right.
Yeah, I think mixed feelings. Mixed feelings.
Yes, sir. True. And I think in that match we bowled really well against USA. Karandai bowled really well. Restricting them on around 200 was a big thing for us, and I thought we could have done better while chasing. And as you mentioned, that 2-3 wickets gone early. So I think that was a good game.
Yeah, I agree. Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
But, we have something positive to take. All right. Another question is, in light of Nepal's early exit from qualifiers, what are your thoughts on the team's strength and weaknesses that were highlighted throughout the tournament? Again, weakness is definitely one I can agree, and I'm sure Rohit as a skipper will also agree, is that not weaknesses, but a big letdown was our fielding. Can I say that?
Yes, sir. Whatever our expectation was with fielding, I think we didn't match that. So yeah, that was.
Yeah, just to be present to those moments, when you know that okay, this catch is coming to me, or this ball is coming to me, being present to that attitude, that aggressive attitude towards expecting every ball to come to you, so that you're switched on. I thought that was missing in phases, and it did cost us in those very important moments in those games. So fielding, it was definitely a letdown. I thought batting in the first two games, if you look at it, against Zimbabwe and against USA, we did well. West Indies, I felt that it was a challenge. But then even in West Indies, I felt, Rohit, when you were building a partnership with Arif, we know 340 was always going to be a daunting task to chase. But I felt that your and Arif's partnership, and if you all would have pushed it till 40th over, you never know.
Yes.
Just to understand, in that over, when Jason was bowling, he was bowling with a 6-3 field line. What was the thought going on in your head?
Because I was 30 odd runs, and I was just calculating the field, and when seeing here this side, only one fielder outside, fine leg, and then what I tried that I will ask the holder to just bowl short ball to me, and I'll pick that to for a boundary or mid wicket. So that was my thought process, and once I did like this, and then he bowled a short ball to me, and then I could not execute my plan there.
Okay.
Yeah, so my thought process was to score runs at that time, because looking at the target that 340, we have some of the time you have to take risk.
I agree. I mean, taking risk, keeping the fearless approach while batting is very important. Look, even Kushal Malla in that game, he was perfect matchup. He picked a left arm spinner for a 6. It was an extraordinary catch. Some other day that catch won't be a catch, it would be a 6. And you never know. I mean, it could have kept him going from there on with Arif. Like I said, 340 was always a daunting task, but we wanted to make a game out of it. Somewhere around 280, 290, if we would have finished fighting, we would have taken that. Again, when we talk about positives, Lalit's bowling, in
Yes.
that game against West Indies, where he bowled power play overs, he bowled crucial overs, and then he came back and he bowled those death overs.
Yes.
Was brilliant. If I look at Sandeep Lamicham's effort in the last game against Netherlands, his energy, his attitude, which he brought with his bat and then with the ball, was a huge positive. KC Karan, like you said, his bowling spell against US was a brilliant positive. The same way goes for Bhim Sharkey, the way he batted in that game. So individually, I thought few of them stepped up with ball and bat.
Yes.
But as a collective group, maybe we wanted a little more as a whole.
Yes.
You know, bowling plans, we said 30 odd overs, we were able to keep West Indies quiet. We knew they'll come hard later on. But maybe some of the plans and some of the skill execution under pressure, we missed out there. And batting under pressure, skills to execute against Netherlands,
Yes.
we missed out there.
Agreeing on that part, sir.
Okay, so I guess that is the way we have tried to sum up our positives from this question. And not weakness, like I said. Feeling is not our weakness, but it was a letdown for us. Okay, so the next question is, how do you plan to address the areas where the team fell short? I guess batting, bowling, all three departments, and improve the team's performance in future international tournaments.
I think batting wise, everyone is talking about our short ball theory, where we could not bat well with the short balls. So I think we can work on that whenever we go in next big tournament, just like Asia Cup or anything. We need to improve in that area, short ball and fielding wise, I think we are there, but I don't know because of the occasion or something, we are missing that small chances. So yeah, fielding and batting, I think both we can improve.
I agree. But again, look, you know, as an experienced coach, I am saying we cannot discount experience. So, how to address the areas where team fell short? I would say that one, obviously, I spoke to my cricket manager, our cricket manager, Vinod Das, to strike that relationship, having spoken so much over here with Zimbabwe and West Indies, and even Netherlands, I would say, where we get an opportunity to play a lot of these away series when we are not committed to any of the tournaments. That will help for sure to get us better at batting in those conditions, especially short balls. We are doing those short ball practice in the nets, but that is not enough.
Yes.
Unless you face the bowlers and you start executing against those bowlers under pressure and start working on those plans for longer periods, that's where you improve your skills and more importantly build your temperament. We can't address it any other ways. I also feel that having a lot more honest conversations with every single individual player, if someone was missing out just mentally, not being switched on, the nerves, like you said, because of the occasion, then I'm sure those nerves will now go, because when they reflect it, they will realize that yes, there is a gap, but that gap is not in our control. But if we bring the right mentality, we might still be able to fight better than the way we fought in some of those phases. The fifth question seems to be directly to me, Rohit. Maybe you can help me on this one. As the coach, what are your reflections on the match against Netherlands yesterday? Were there any specific moments or decisions that you feel could have turned the tide in our favor? Again, like you said, the game plans, to trust the game plans and to stick around a little longer with the bat. And maybe the thing that could have turned around was the toss. Rohit can win a few more tosses in these conditions. Huh? But what is your thought on the way we approach defending that 167?
I thought with our attitude of fierce competitor, I think that was not there yesterday. What I felt from the ball one also, and the credit I would give to them also, because they came hard on us from
they came with a lot of
aggression. So I think knowing that 160 was on the board and they're coming hard in the power play, so from that only I thought that we were a little behind in that part.
Yeah, fair enough. And, some other day at 167, you know, with a couple of wickets, we could have pushed it more, but I always felt 167 was too low score to defend. Yeah, nothing much. We have tried to address it. We have tried to speak about this today quite a few times. Just that skills in partnerships. Our strength has been, and our blueprint has been skills in partnerships. I thought everyone got start, but we never got the big partnership to speak about.
Yes.
Or normally when we have won the games, it's always skills complementing each other. For example, you and Dipendra also were looking quite busy out there with ones and twos. And now we kind of also sent across the message that 110 or something, and if you both were sticking around till 40th over, we could have reached our target of 160, 170, which we wanted in the first innings. And who knows, with wickets in hand from there, we could have ended up scoring 240.
I thought by losing the toss and getting batting first, and at that stage, me and DP Dai batted. If we batted to the 40th over around 160 score, I thought we would end up 240, 250.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean we missed out on, you know, trusting our plans a little longer in those phases. Challenging conditions, yes, but we were up for it. I think skill execution under pressure is what we missed out in those phases, and that led to a disappointing score that we couldn't defend properly. The last question for today, and I always say these are the best questions. Nepal has a passionate and dedicated fan base. Couldn't agree more. That may be disappointed and impatient with team's performance in ICC World Cup qualifiers, especially after yesterday's loss against Netherlands. What message would you like to convey to Nepali supporters who have been eagerly following and supporting the team? Yes, you have been supporting a happy dressing room. One thing which I'll start off is, I think we should keep our judgment very balanced. Look at all these games and the performances from all perspective, and hope you all analyze a little more calmly, because we can jump from A to Z, but that wouldn't solve the problems. Challenges, not problems. I think we do try to reflect and make an honest effort to improve our skills, and more importantly to bring that mindset to win one ball battles, to win phases, to win games. So let Rohit speak to the Nepali fans. Probably he will be able to connect even better in your Nepali language with them.
I think हजुरहरूले एकदम सपोर्ट गर्नुभएको छ हैन, बट सरले अघि भने जस्तो हामी सुरुदेखि नै भनौँ न प्र्याक्टिस म्याचेसहरू सबै प्लेयर्सहरूले स्टाफ्सहरूले कोचेसहरू सबैले एफर्ट पुऱ्याइहालेछन् हैन, बट प्लेइङ अगेन्स्ट जिम्बाब्वे वेस्ट इन्डिजसँग र हामी जति पनि भनौँ न मेहनत गरे पनि, बट त्यो एक्सपिरियन्सले अलिकति भनौँ न अलिक पछाडि पऱ्यौँ योपालि हैन, बट स्टिल मलाई के फिल हुन्छ कि केटा सबैजनाले एकदमै मेहनत गरेछन् हैन, इन्क्लुडिङ सपोर्टिङ स्टाफ सबैले एकदमै मेहनत गरेछन्, बट योपालि रिजल्ट आएन, बट त्यही हो, यस्तै सपोर्ट र माया गरिराख्नु होला, नेक्स्ट टुर्नामेन्टमा हामी एकदमै राम्रो गर्नेछौँ.
I feel a lot of you also try to message across your approach, your thought process around selections. Well done on that part, but remember, we are trying to talk about people's careers, and we try to approach this in a very rational manner, and I think we have been given a job to manage this team with a lot of work that we put in place, the homework that we put in place. And after all the work that we put in place is when we select our team and we trust them. This is one big happy dressing room which we talk about. Happy dressing room with right attitude is what's going to take us forward. So keep supporting us, and we thank you for all the love that you have given to us so far.